Hey everyone, welcome to the Horror Show. I'm Cecil Laird.
I'm Jaime in Fuego, and you're also watching in Fuego-tainment right now, and we're crossing the streams again. And dude, this is a movie that we have been waiting a couple years for, just like most horror fans, am I right?
Absolutely. This is, of course, Eli Roth's The Green Inferno. Long time coming.
In some ways, but you know, it wasn't quite as bad as I was expecting. And here we like to cover the Bueno, the Malo, and the Feyo. So a little bit of the good, the bad, and the ugly. Dude, with the Bueno, I gotta say, it was a beautiful looking film. A lot of the sky shots that they did, the painting of these actual Aborigines, you know, who were truly regional and didn't even know about film when they were first, you know, taken into star in this.
I would love to have seen that conversation.
Yeah, exactly. Trying to explain and, you know, make sure they don't get killed just like the people in the actual
exactly. Considering the subject matter, I would have been frightened myself.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, no, I totally agree. The actual, you know, patterns on the people, it was cool. It was interesting, like, some of the actual tribesmen had interesting paint jobs that made them look like they had been scarred and stuff like that, but upon closer inspection on some of them, it was just the paint jobs, and it was really cool. I was thinking to myself, actually, ooh, it looks like war paint has made it into the 21st century. Like,
truly.
But yet, cool.
I think there were certain distinctions dependent upon how you were painted. I mean, the hierarchy, they got the yellow going in contrast with the red.
And the jewelry attached to noses.
There's a lot of red flowing as well, I must say. I mean, exactly.
Absolutely. Now, I'm going to go ahead and jump in with my first Bueno, if that's okay with you. My first Bueno, it's actually part Bueno, part Malo. I'll get to that later on, but my first Bueno is the Gore. Because y'all know me, I love the gore in movies.
He loves it.
I do. I enjoy, you know, specifically really kind of grotesque things. And not because I'm weird, but just because I don't see it enough. There's so many PG-13 horror movies that come out nowadays.
They're kind of the bread and butter now, man.
Yeah, they really are. It's nice to see Eli Roth get back to what he does best. Not that he necessarily got away from it, but I loved Cabin Fever. I was a big fan of Hostel, though it was tough to watch at parts. And this was more along the lines of Hostel, but it's nice to see someone put money into good gore effects and all kinds of good stuff like that. So that's my first Bueno.
Most def, yeah. And for me, I love the fact that his script actually kind of kept me guessing initially. It was about more than I thought it was going to be, at least. I mean, I was kind of expecting things to come about pretty quickly, not as much character development and not as much of a side subplot. And that
I was expecting more of a straightforward, you know, more rote sort of plot that just didn't have much depth to it.
Went right for the jugular.
Yeah, it definitely did that, but like you said, there was a little bit more depth to it maybe than I thought there was going to be. Definitely another Bueno for me, cruising along here, is that the ending was more satisfying than I anticipated it being. I thought it was going to go a certain way based on the trailer and based on what usually happens in movies like this.
No spoilers, man.
No spoilers. We're good about that. Being one of the in-theater reviews specifically, because we're not going to show you many clips, and we want you guys to experience it for yourselves. So, any other Buenos for you?
You know, another Bueno for me is the fact that they really terrified me in the fact that we all know this is a movie about cannibalism, right? I mean, cannibal Holocaust homage. We're not going to elaborate too much about that, but they presented it with such normality. And I thought that was one of the scariest things. It was just like commonplace for them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. The kids are waiting to get their meals and stuff, and I thought that was some of the most disturbing scenes.
Yeah. Honestly,
way more
really
than the chop-up scenes, man.
Yeah.
That's what got me.
Those were aggressive too. Don't get me wrong. Sort of the subtext of the fact that this is just what these tribes people do, what this tribe does. Yeah, it's super creepy, you know. Yeah. So let's jump into the Malo then, Jaime.
Yeah.
What would be your first Malo?
Oh goodness, we got some bad in here, obviously. First and foremost, and this is not necessarily the detriment of the script, you know, because I must say Eli Roth crafted a fantastic story. It really was. It was captivating. It was good, but just the kind of, without like actually elaborating on too much, the gullibility of these children. They really didn't think things through here with what they. Oh my goodness, yeah, they're freshmen. Like the one
college student activists, no less.
She's also in Knock Knock, and I must say, you know, she's probably playing a much different part than she does in this. She was good, but her and all of the stereotypical college students around her, yeah, they didn't really put much thought into what they were trying to do.
No, definitely not. You know, got a little bit of what they deserve for their naivete.
Well, what's the tagline? It's like no good deed goes unpunished,
yeah,
right? So,
yeah, very appropriate tagline. The motto in this was that nothing really shined bright. Like, it was a good story. It was well done. The gore was really cool, which I liked, but there was nothing that really jumped out like that made it a really standout movie.
There was a lot of attention after the long delay to this film, though, which maybe makes us scrutinize it a little bit.
Yeah,
more.
a little bit. Like I might have been, I might have gotten my hopes up a bit too much, and it just kind of couldn't live up to what I was hoping for. Because, you know, all these people, you know, people were throwing up in the early screenings, and Eli Roth's been trying to get it seen. Yeah, I know, but still, you know, for a horror fan, it makes it more interesting to try and look out for. And for waiting so long, it just was it was pretty good. You know?
Saw some characters in the movie bar.
True. Yeah, that's true. But other than that, you know, yeah, it wasn't underwhelming, but it didn't blow me away. And that, I mean, if that's the extent of my Malo, that's not such a bad thing, really.
Yeah, it was still enjoyable. There was one particular hazy plot twist halfway through that I thought was kind of lame, but other than that,
I agree. It was a little far, and I'm like,
it was a little foggy as far as the writing goes. We will not elaborate much beyond that.
The mechanics of it just wouldn't work the way that they had it work, but you know, they had to throw something in to allow for a particular set of circumstances to happen with the characters. Again, we're being vague for a reason, guys. We don't want to spoil too much
because we want you to see it, damn it.
Yeah, I mean, kids getting trapped in a rainforest with cannibalistic tribe pretty much describes the whole thing, and any little variances that we talk about are going to spoil stuff. So we got to be very careful about that.
Not elaborate that much. Fingers firmly crossed. So to the Feyo, you know, the first thing I got to say is Sky Ferreira, what in the hell are you doing acting? You are terrible. Ever since If You Wanna Make Me Be Your Lover, or whatever the hell that song was, it was like black and white. It was like very artsy. I thought, okay, this little wannabe gothy Britney Spears, but holy smokes, she was like, she did the worst drugged out acting I've ever heard. And this is Feyo, this is ugly because it was really bad. This is the blonde that we were laughing about.
Oh my gosh, okay, the roommate, yeah.
Yeah,
bad. Literally, I leaned over to Jaime, I'm like, I hope she goes on the trip because I want her to die.
And I knew who she was in the credits. I was like, what is Eli Roth doing putting this girl in a movie?
I remember, Jaime saw the name and he like giggled a little bit. And I was like,
you heard me, right?
I had no idea why he's giggling at this person.
She's a singer,
but in a separate instance, you know, I leaned over to Jaime and said, I don't like her, I want her to die.
Yeah, and then she didn't. Well, yeah, we won't.
We don't have to go too bad. You know, it's just she really tried to play this super emo like girl, and it just was annoying.
It stood out like a sore thumb.
Really big.
How about some Feyo for you, man?
You know, the Feyo for me. I know my Bueno was the Gore, but my Feyo is the Gore. Because there is a lot of nasty stuff that you have to see, and
one in particular.
Yeah,
stuck with me.
Well, one in particular that there was a couple of things that they got to do, and one that maybe they didn't get to do that would have been even worse. I was truly worried they were going to show something that they ended up not really showing.
Wait for the director's cut. You never know.
Exactly.
All that chopping and hacking.
Yeah, but. It was, I liked the gore, but man, it was some rough gore to look at for some people. I didn't have such a problem, but I know for other people it'll be considered a big fail just because it's tough to stomach. They're very on point with their blood gushing and and not only gushing. It's not like Turbo Kid blood gushing like we enjoy. It was blood oozing out of the appropriate places and spurting when necessary. And actually, that
down on certain organs.
That reminded me.
Only time.
Yeah, there's one thing that I did want to mention for my Bueno that I forgot, and that was there was a couple moments where I was genuinely surprised. There wasn't much fail outside of the fact that it was really ugly to see all of these things happen to these people. As much as I might have
these nice,
enjoyed watching
kids, but they ended up caught in some circumstances based on not thinking things through. In my opinion.
For real. Any other fails for you?
There was one kid who I wanted to see his demise on screen, and it did not happen, and it drove me nuts. But
we won't say why because there were some deaths that happened off camera.
Yeah.
a lot of stupidity. You know what? That's another fail for me. Some of the stupidity of some of the characters. For instance...
Well, that ties in with the gullibility I mentioned.
Yeah,
these
true
dumb
enough.
kids, man.
True enough. Well, there's gullibility, and then there's just flat stupidity, like walking into a propeller blade as it's spinning.
It usually spells your fate in a horror film, you know, how dumb you actually are.
For real. But yeah, I mean, that about covered the fail for me. Anything else for you?
Nope. I guess we're ready to send it on back to you guys, but we got to extend the grande gracias for you allowing us to cross the streams once more. The horror show and Fuego-tainment, you know, this is pretty much both of us at this point.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys, for watching, and stay tuned. We are going to have more horror reviews coming all October long that are going to be the in-theater style review that we've been doing for both this and the Shamhammers Visit movie.
Yeah.
Thanks very much for watching, and until next time, remember,
stay scared.